I can tell from a lot of the negative automatic thoughts that you had in that thought change record we were working on that you're pretty anxious about things at work.
Yeah, yeah, especially next Wednesday.
What's coming up next Wednesday?
Well, that's when corporate comes in. It's our big plan inspection.
So a lot of anxiety going on there.
Oh, yeah.
What tends to happen when you get anxious?
I don't know, my mind goes blank.
You know, that's not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if we sort of rehearse a little bit how things might go, it's useful. So when you think about next Wednesday, what are some of the thoughts that go through your mind?
It's going to be horrible. Everyone's going to be nervous.
And what about you?
I'll be nervous. I mean,
And what are you nervous about?
you know, the big bosses are there. I mean, are they going to fire me? I mean, that's my big concern.
So your thought is?
They're going to fire me.
Now, we worked on that a little
Right.
bit.
It's
How
not
would you?
likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still there in the back of your
Yeah.
mind, might come rushing out under this
Right.
situation.
I don't know if I say something stupid or mistake our production goals.
So do you usually say stupid stuff?
No, when I get nervous, I tend to clam up.
Okay. So again, it might be useful to rehearse a little bit.
Okay.
Big boss is here asking you some questions. Right. What do you have to say?
You know, we've made 78% of our goal.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, 80% is the goal. I mean, they expect us to make around 80. And so 78 is pretty good. It's better, in fact, in some of the lines.
What else? What are they going to ask you about?
You know, I'm just a team leader. The only other thing that you ask, and they ask every year, is what can we do to make this a better corporate environment?
And what's the answer?
What do I think the answer is? We need more employees. We need more people on the line. I don't think they actually listen, but you know, that's the kind of thing they ask every year.
Mm-hmm. What else?
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you sum up a little bit what you've said is a pretty good response when the big bosses come around and start asking you questions?
I mean, they're already going to know what my production was for the year. They'll have those numbers. I just got to remind myself of that.
And what exactly do you need to remind yourself of?
That our numbers are pretty good for my line. There's lines that have done a lot worse than we've done this year.
And what about you as the supervisor? What do you need to remind yourself of?
Probably that thing, I'm good enough.
And where are you in the overall scheme of things?
You mean at the plant?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just an hourly employee. I'm just a supervisor. You know, it's the suits that got the pressure, the management.
Now, you mentioned when you get anxious, it's a little hard for you to think of these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes it helps to write things down after you've sort of gone over them,
Okay.
so that you can remind yourself of them.
Okay.
You know, I have a little card here.
Okay.
Might want to write it down.
All right.
What are some of the things you said that were useful to remind yourself of?
I'm close to my goal, or our goal, whatever, and that there's others that are who are worse off than we are on the line. Okay.
Write it down.
So we're close to our goal.
What else? You mentioned something about the suits.
Yeah, I'm not a suit. I mean, they're really not here for me. I'm not I'm not the one under the microscope. So I'm not a suit. They're not really looking at me.
What else?
You know, they're only going to ask a question or two of me. I guess they're not really going to interrogate me. Okay.
Why don't you put that one down? Why don't you read those back to me so I can understand them?
Okay. Let's see here. We're close to our goal. In fact, you know, we're doing better in some of the other lines. I'm not a suit. They're not really looking at me. Oh, and they're not going to interrogate me.
Anything else you think would be helpful to put down there on the card?
You know, I've been there 10 years, and this is not the first time I've done this. I mean, I've made it through it before. It's not that bad.
When you've worried a little bit back on that exercise we were doing that you might lose your job,
Right.
Is there something you might say about
Nah,
that?
I'm not going to lose my job.
In fact, what?
Well, I know what I'm doing.
So if we add those, how do you think those statements might influence how you feel going into the big day?
Well, I'm sure I'll be anxious, but probably do better.
Mm-hmm. So where are you going to keep that card?
It's going to be in my wallet.
Well, and I wonder, would it make some sense to review them a few times as part of your homework before Wednesday?
That makes sense.
So you'll be good and ready.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.